The book on analytical chemistry in wine is, in fact, an update of a chapter of the former book edited by Würdig and Woller about wine chemistry. During the past 20, 30 years, the analytical techniques have changed dramatically, especially through the introduction of instrumental analysis in combination with data recording and data science. We decided to dedicate a whole separate book on the analytical possibilities and direct a special focus on the interpretation of data and results. Apart from the modern instrumental analysis, we also had decided to keep the classical, the so-called wet chemical or traditional methods in the book, so that the chemistry behind the analytical methods will not be forgotten. The book not only comprises method descriptions, but also the motivations and justifications behind the question, what do I analyze, what certain ingredients and what compounds should be analyzed, and what are the explanation for the values and the data and the results I get from it. And this is in terms of quality assessment or for the checks for legal or illegal production in winemaking, but also to check for the correct labeling, quality assurance, and wine authenticity. So in this regard, the authors and also the editors have benefited from their scientific experience over a long period and their long involvement in method application, in method harmonization and interpretation, and of course, international validation. In all these fields, the OIV has always played a very outstanding and central role. So consequently, there's a lot of reference done on the method compilation of the OIV. Personally, I have started within the OIV in 1990. I was, to that time, a scientist, an analytical chemist, and a German delegate in the subcommission of methods of analysis. This book is a kind of specific legacy. My thanks go to all the scientists being involved in that book, the Ulmer Verlag, who was presenting it, for their support. And what I can say is that we all feel extremely honored to receive the Grand Prix de l'OIV.
As a chemist who is interested in history of chemistry, I found a nice sentence about wine, saying that wine, it belongs to the most valuable gifts on earth. Wine requests love and respect. You can find these words on the law tables of Hammurabi about 3,700 years ago. Even at that time, the question of authenticity or adulteration of food and wine was interesting. Many analytical techniques which were developed over the years were tested and developed using wine as a complex medium to test the quality of analytical tools. This is also the reason why we used some classical analytical techniques and methods in the book. Nowadays, people are using sophisticated physical techniques, but we should not forget that so-called wet chemical techniques, we can say that adulteration is not a new thing. It's a very old problem. This is the reason why we also looked for these classical chemical techniques to see how the things have changed over the centuries. Adulteration is nowadays one of the biggest problems in the world on food and beverages. We try to contribute to authenticity studies of wine. And so it was a great pleasure for me to work together with the colleagues in this book.